What's up, Blazineers and Blazinettes? So my countdown to Marvel's The Punisher continues, and that will start streaming next Friday. Ooh, I am stoked. Now I'm on to the 2004 version of The Punisher, starring Thomas Jane and John Travolta. So there may be a couple spoilers mentioned in this review, so that is your warning if you have not seen this movie. Now, this movie is basically like an origin story, like where you get to experience him as Frank Castle, like until we see him, and then we see him evolve or devolve, whichever use. Okay, whichever word you prefer to use, evolve, devolve, like how he basically starts to shift over to becoming the Punisher, and again they added a little bit more to to basically to the story of the Punisher, like where instead of his wife and his wife and family, like his wife and children being gunned down, his entire family is gunned down, and it's basically like all because he got he got the main villain's son killed, and that's what led the villain to kill his family. They get his family killed in like in return. And I mean, I get what they're kind of trying to do. Like they're trying to basically, I guess, flesh out like the like Howard Saint, and make him not like just a one-dimensional villain. Like, haha, I did this because it's fun. But I mean, it makes you wonder, like, should we be rooting for the Punisher to go after this guy? I mean, like, you kind of reap what you sow. I mean, that's what the movie kind of is. That's kind of like the tone of the movie, and since it's an origin story, I can now forgive it for the flaws that I think it had, like back then, like to where the Punisher does not really kill as many people as you would want him to. I mean, again, this is him where we get to see how he becomes the Punisher. And like where like in the previous movie, he's already the Punisher. He's been the Punisher for years, and we see him as Frank Castle in like a brief flashback. But here we get to experience him in like the first half hour of the movie, and then that's where it starts. That's where his world basically turns upside down, and that's where he becomes the Punisher from there on out. But I mean, like you can tell, like he doesn't really start to really kill a lot of people until basically all the way at the end of the movie, where he finally gets to Howard Saint, and he's cutting down all his basically his whole his security, everybody who was there, like when he's having the meeting, and then it's just crazy. I mean, like it's crazy like how he sends everybody to kill his entire family, and also I mean, like I'm talking about Howard Saint, like how Howard Saint sends everybody to kill Frank Castle's entire family and him too, and also sends his only remaining son, who is he was still alive at that time, and it's ridiculous. I mean, it's sort of. I mean, you can say that it's sort of like he kind of handled how the Punisher would have handled the situation. Only difference is that the Punisher would have went and handled it himself, as opposed to sending somebody else to do your dirty tongue-tied shit, as opposed to sending somebody else to do your dirty work. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's a good a good origin story. It's a good way to show development from him being Frank Castle to the Punisher. Back then, I kind of roasted it to shreds, like, what the fuck? He's not really killing that many people. What the hell? I mean, I enjoyed the whole the whole origin story thing, but I kind of want to see him on the bloodbath, and he doesn't really do that until the end of the movie. But all the way, building up to that, he's basically trying to crumble Howard Saint's empire from within, like like with his wife and his closest friend. He made him. He made Howard Saint. Blah, blah, blah. I keep getting tongue tied. What the fuck? He makes Howard Saint turn against his wife and his best friend by, his belief that they were sleeping together. But you later on find out that his best friend was gay and his wife didn't do anything. She just went to the movies by herself. But that's all he's basically been doing, and he's also been drinking non-stop after he's been strategizing and basically trying to find ways to fuck with Howard Saint and shoot very little people in the process. And then he goes home and he drinks and he drinks and he drinks, and then you figure he doesn't really have much of a hangover. He's just back to what he's doing as if he didn't drink that night. And then while he's there, when he's in grieving mode, he does grieve over his family's death, but he grieves mainly over his wife's death. Like when he really drinks and he thinks about, he's reliving the, basically that day that he lost his family. Like he's focusing heavily on his wife, where he's more of like a grieving husband as opposed to a grieving family man. And when he saw his wife and son gunned down and he's running to them, he just yells his wife's name. He doesn't yell his son's name. I mean, yeah, he holds them both in his arms when he gets to their dead bodies, but that's a little off. I mean, like, should be grieving for both of them at least both of them. You know what I mean? But I mean, still, I mean that's just a nitpick of mine. And when it gets to the final act where he's finally killing everybody, and then when he gets to the main villain, when he gets to Howard Saint, you're thinking, oh shit, here we go. We've been waiting for these two to meet. It's time for a showdown. And then he kills him as easily as he's killed the people who Howard Saint sent after him. Like, what the fuck? That's my biggest nitpick with this movie. Excuse me, that's my biggest nitpick with this movie. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, I was expecting a little bit of a throwdown. Howard Saint's injured. The Punisher is a little injured too. So let's see these two guys have a brawl. But no, Punisher killed him like he was nothing. I mean, yeah, you want the Punisher to win, but damn, I mean, like, we've been waiting for these two to meet through almost the whole movie, and then this is what we get. What the hell? And yeah, he easily defeats him, and he's about to take his own life, and then he keeps seeing his wife. Not his son, but just his wife, and that's what holds him back from killing himself. And then he goes on his quest to basically be the Punisher. And that's how it ends. I mean, as an origin story, I'd say it's pretty, a pretty decent, decent way to, to do it. But, I mean, I guess, I can accept the fact that he hasn't killed that many people through the, a good chunk of the movie, since it's an origin story, and we see how he becomes the Punisher. But, that, when he meets Howard Saint, that's bullshit. Bullshit. Like, I mean, you've been building up for these two characters. It happened. It is what it is. It's still a good origin story. So, with that all being said, I think this gets 3.5 chair spins out of 5. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.5 chair spins. And I will say this, that when I heard that John Travolta was going to be in the movie, I'm like, don't tell me he's going to be the Punisher. And then when I heard he's the villain, I was like, would that take me out of the movie? I kind of thought it would, because he's a very well-known actor, but he did a good job as Howard Saint. I mean, he did a really good job. And Thomas Jane, he was, he was also a really awesome, like Frank Castle in The Punisher. And it's a shame that we didn't really get a sequel. I was really looking forward to, like, let's get a sequel where he's just going crazy and just killing people left and right. But we didn't get that. That just went totally south. So, Oh well, I mean, there is that laundry, like that laundromat video. I mean, that's as close to a follow up as we're gonna get. But hey, decent origin story, and that's why I can accept it as a whole. But that last showdown was bullshit. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed my review for this movie, make sure you thumb up the video, quick subscribe, and thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in my review for Punisher Warzone, and as we count down to Marvel's The Punisher. So until then, peace out, y'all.